Yes, sir.
You said that part of your funds were direct appropriation from the state government. How much from 2004 to 2010 is your actual budget increase in total dollars?
Our budget in 2000 and, well, it's, let me say from the current state, right, was the current, we used to have a budget of about $65 million a year, and we now have a budget of about $42 million a year. So we've dramatically reduced our budget and cut our head count and do more. It's why we have a AAA. Yeah, we have a AAA.
You're bringing more money in, so you have more.
Well, I mean, look, state revenues in Indiana have taken a hit like the state revenues everybody else have, and we've had a really great last 18 months in terms of bringing new jobs. At the same time, just like Wisconsin, right, an enormous job loss, right? I mean, our unemployment is roughly the same as your unemployment is, right? And so that's going to mean people are spending less, and people have less money. The next budget cycle will be difficult in Indiana because the federal budget, the stimulus money goes away, right? You're going to pull that stimulus money out. For other states, it's just awful experience. Yes, sir. The turnover in our sales staff. One of the things my predecessor did, Mickey Maurer, who had the job for the first term, he convinced the governor that he needed to dramatically increase the salaries of those people who worked in those sales staff, in those roles, because turnover, Mickey believes, and I think he's right, the turnover of those folks is terrible because they develop relationships with firms, they develop relationships with site consultants, they develop relationships with communities, and being able to have those relationships is really important. So we'll pay one of our salespeople, $75,000, $80,000 a year. Our managers are making $100,000 a year. We still don't pay them nearly as much as we'd like to. But in this economy, that's work. The question is, if we ever come out of if somebody asked me, is there and the tunnel you're in, is that a light or a train? And the answer was, and my answer is, I don't see a light or a train. I don't see anything. I just see the same, right? So we've not had a turnover problem in the last 18 months. We'll see if we do, if the economy picks up again. Yes, sir.
How did the process go when you came in the 05 and from kind of the old business? How did the process go?
In other words, how did Mickey do it? Because I ran the 10,000 person, $9 billion a year human service agency that I got to screw with for the first 4 years. Before the government gave me this opportunity, Mickey just carved it apart. Just carved it up. We did an LBO on government and carved chunks off and moved them to other parts of state government if they were necessary, or got rid of them completely. And we did stuff like stop having a public employees union. That's why we have a AAA credit rating. I mean, these are tough choices that we made, but when I joked about, we spent less than we took in, we could never have done that had we had a public employees union. We stopped having a public employees union. So, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. The first name of how do we deal with local governments? For us, the first name of every economic development program, or rather every economic development project in the state, is the name of the community it's looking at. So nobody locates in Indiana, right? Anywhere in Indiana, we don't have that town, right? Or in someplace in Indiana, we don't have that town. We have Lagodi, Indiana, or we have Carmel, Indiana, right? So the first name is always that community. So we work hand in glove with local communities. And I'll say that from in Indiana, at least in the last 18 months, where I have great personal knowledge, every Republican and every Democrat mayor and we have partisan mayors in Indiana, mostly partisan mayors in Indiana, has worked as an absolute complete member of our team. So there has never been a question of partisanship on transactions. So we've got a great working relationship with every local government, every local economic development organization in the state has really pulled well together. We're all and in the same direction. Yes, they've adopted the same speed and reaction time. Or they haven't gotten deals, candidly. They'll just, because the site selection guys will have 3 deals. They'll have our deal and 2 other deals. And I go, okay, well, these guys didn't respond, so I'll take one of these 2 and move on. Yes, sir.
Have you been able to work successfully with the education portion of the state people who improve the math and other?
Yeah. The question is, how have we done with the educational bureaucracy? That's really not what I do. I talk about it a lot in the effort, in the hopes that over some point in time, I'll be talking to an educator who will actually realize that math matters most. And so we've had some success there. We have a great relationship with Purdue University on the higher ed side. We have one statewide organization that does what you'd call junior college, called Ivy Tech. We have one in the state. It's very helpful to have one, by the way, rather than however many you have. How many do you have here? 16. We have one. And did I say we had a AAA credit rating? It's what, right? So we have a pretty good relationship with IU. IU tends to be more focus on liberal arts than they do on science and math, which is what companies that come to us want. So we've never had anybody tell us no. In the last 18 months, no one said no to us. Part of that is the governor and the fact that he's talked about it, and we've been pretty successful in the first 4 years. So I imagine it was a little tougher getting started. Yes, sir.
Could you comment on the organizational structure of the Department of Commerce vis-a-vis IEDC?
Sure. The Department of Commerce did a lot of things. They had a person who was the lieutenant governor of the state of Indiana who was responsible for operating that agency. And lieutenant governor and the governor's office would work collaboratively on issues. Today, we are a very top-down operation. The governor's my boss. He's the board chairman. We have a board of 9 other business executives from across the state. I run the Economic Development Agency, and whenever I need any help from some other part of state government, I call them. They drop whatever they're doing, and they figure out if they can help me in that way or not. I mean, sometimes I guess there's a possibility that we wouldn't be able to do something. We haven't really found that problem yet, but it's not a collegial operation, right? We're a business organization. Yes, ma'am. We don't really work with small business. Well, we don't work with small business. They sustain themselves. I mean, they're not going to, I mean, we don't work, we have a small business administration, a small business organization that we have offices around that help a little bit, but really our focus is on going to hunt elephants, because you can feed a lot more people with an elephant than you can with a bunny. And so we're about our job. We're a single purpose agency. We go out and we do transactions and bring jobs to Indiana. That's what we do. If companies want to be creative, and we try, and the governor, not me, the governor, tries to create an environment in which people wish to move to Indiana or invest their money in Indiana and start businesses in Indiana. If you're a high-tech organization that does life sciences or does biotech, there's a small chance that you might be eligible to get some of our 21 fund money. But primarily, we go out and look at deals of 100 jobs or more.